In the past few months, or well, maybe even years, we all have heard something about the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Every single day, more and more news comes out about it. But have you ever wondered why this fight is so intense and why it has been so long? I mean, how did it start? Is someone right? And if it is the case, who's right? Israelis or Palestinians? But before we start to talk about this, to try to find the answers to all this conflict, we need to understand that. And to understand that, we are going to have to, you know, travel in time to know how this really started. But before we start talking about it, I have to remind you that this video is made possible by Languages Unlimited. You know that Languages Unlimited have a really long list of services just for you, right? I mean, they have transcription, translation, interpretation services, and so many more. And in more than 200 languages. Yeah, so why don't you check their website? I mean, visit right now languagesunlimited.com and you will see that I'm not lying to you. So go visit languagesunlimited.com and then tell me how it was. Now you know this. Let's get back to our video. You know, like almost every single war in history, this one has its roots in historical, religious, political, and social issues. But in this specific case, the problem has been evolving for more than a century. And to understand a little bit more, we need to travel back in time. What we know today as Palestine has been inhabited since really ancient times and is considered holy by Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Actually, it is known historically as Canaan and is mentioned a lot of times in the Bible as the promised land for the Israelites. For 400 years, Palestine was under control of the Ottoman Empire. During this time, the population was almost entirely Arab, although there were already some Jewish communities. At the end of the 19th century, Jewish nationalism, known as Zionism, began. This movement aimed to create a national home for Jews in Palestine, motivated by the rise of antisemitism in Europe. In 1897, the first Zionist Congress took place in Switzerland, laying the groundwork for Jewish settlement in Palestine. In 1917, the British government issued the Balfour Declaration, supporting the creation of a Jewish national home in Palestine. But the problem here was that this promise was made without the consent of the Arab local population, who made up the majority of the region. After World War I, the League of Nations gave Britain the mandate over Palestine. During this time, from 1920 to 1948, almost 30 years, tensions between Jewish and Arab communities grew due to the increasing of the Jewish migration, pushed by Zionism and the desire to escape from persecution from World War II in Europe. From 1936 to 1939, there was a big Arab revolt in response to Jewish migration. So many Arabs believed that actually Britain was favoring Jews in their own territory, which actually settled the basis to create this massive conflict. Because of the ongoing clashes, in 1947, the UN proposed a big plan to divide Palestine into two states, one Jewish and the other one an Arab, with Jerusalem as the international city. While Zionist leaders accepted the plan, Arab leaders and most of the Arab population rejected, feeling it was totally unfair to share their land with the Jews. This disagreement actually led to the 1948 war, which resulted in the creation of Israel and actually started another war with the neighbor Arab countries. But after this war, Israel expanded its territory beyond what the UN proposed, and about 700,000 Palestinians became refugees. In 1967, Israel fought against Egypt, Syria, and Jordan in the Six-Day War, which they occupied the Gaza Strip, West Bank, and other areas. This occupation also represented a major point of conflict, with Israeli settlements being built in Palestinian territory and their ongoing expansion. Between 1987 to 1993, the first Intifada happened. It was a Palestinian uprising against the Israeli occupation. In 1994, the Palestinian National Authority was established as a result of the Oslo Accords, giving some autonomy in Gaza. But besides this, the Palestinians remain unhappy about injustices in their own land, leading to a second and even more violent intifada in 2005. With the first intifada, Hamas emerged, an Islamist group that advocated for armed resistance against Israel and the establishment of an Islamic State in Palestine. In 2006, Hamas won the Palestinian legislative election, which led to a new conflict with Fatah, the dominant party until then. This conflict peaked in 2007 when Hamas took control of the Gaza Strip, sparking a series of events. Some of them are a lot of military operations. These are several military operations in Gaza in response to rocket attacks and other actions by Hamas. These operations have led to numerous deaths and dozens of injuries. Another big event was the Gaza blockade. Since 2007, Israel has imposed a land, sea, and air blockade on the Gaza Strip, causing a humanitarian crisis. Restrictions, limited access to essential goods made even worse the suffering and the situation of the Palestinian population in Gaza. All these confrontations have led to a variety of international reactions. Some countries strongly support Israel's right to defend itself, while others advocate for the rights of the Palestinians and criticize Israel's actions as disproportionate. Today, the conflict remains a trending topic in global politics. Tensions continue in Gaza, where Hamas still controls the territory, and in West Bank, where the Israeli occupation continues. Attempts at international mediation, led by the United States and others, have not been completely successful. Actually, recently, this conflict seems to have gained greater strength, and in reality we are really far away from reaching a consensus due to the difference of the narratives of both sides. Right now, the future of the conflict depends on multiple factors, including an internal political change in both communities, Israelis and Palestinians, and of course, the role of the international community. Now that you know where this all conflict started, now we can understand the actual situation, and I promise we are going to talk about that in our next video. Until then, see you.